Guys, it is a very good morning, evening, whatever, or afternoon. I'm really glad.
Morning, evening, whatever. Or afternoon. I'm really glad. Morning, evening, whatever.
I'm very glad to have you here today, my viewers, as we are going to go through the recently done examination. So just give me a second as I share the paper so that we can discuss it in detail. You are allowed to ask as many questions as possible. If you have any question, we are going to discuss all of them here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe in this YouTube channel. If you're a first-time subscriber, you are very much welcomed. You are very much welcomed. If you're a first-time subscriber in this channel, I hope that we can clearly view it. I hope that we can clearly view it on your end. My name is Mr. Otieno Bruno, a teacher from Kenya, and also an experienced examiner under Pearson Edexcel. I am glad to be privileged today to be your teacher, and as I'm going to take you through this exam paper. So this paper was done on Wednesday, 4th June, and we are going to see some of the challenges that maybe students might have faced during the solving of this paper. Generally, it was a well done paper by the board. We really appreciate them for setting such kind of paper. In case you have not seen the paper one, you can just go and find it in my YouTube channel. You can go and find it there. So as you can see, the paper is paper 2, and this paper, generally, I can say that it was not a bad paper. The way students performed on it, most of the questions here were able to be tackled by the students. So maybe if I would start, this paper, generally, you are supposed to be answering all the questions. Let me just take you through the instructions for the students who are preparing to do this paper, and also the students who are maybe have done the paper. You can see the paper allows a calculator. Whenever you see the symbol of a calculator here, it means that you're allowed to use a calculator. Only in paper 1, it's a non-calculator paper, therefore you are not supposed to be using a calculator. But for the rest, you are supposed to be using a calculator. That is paper 2, 3, respectively. I will be also conducting the International GCSE examination paper later on. Once I'm done with the UK-based paper here in my YouTube channel, I'm just trying to give you some time. We have around some 5 minutes to get ready and be prepared for the lesson. We are supposed to be starting at exactly 5, that is plus 3 GMT. Right now I'm just in my summer vacation and I'm currently in Kenya, so you can adjust. I'm giving you time so that you can get your tools ready. People are getting some pens, some note pen, some notepads, so that we can be in this together. So first, the instruction is that you are supposed to be using a black ink or a ball pen. This allows easy scanning of the paper during marking for the papers that will be sent to the e-pen marking. So you avoid colored pens, which always results to your papers being sent for traditional marking. Then also, let us look at the second instruction. You're told that if pencils is used for diagrams, sketches, graphs, it must be a dark HB pen. Some schools do provide for their candidates, but some will advise you to bring. So always confirm with your center invigilator or supervisor if the pen that you have is of the best quality and you will not have troubles while you are using it. Next, you are told to fill in the box at the top of this paper. This box generally it is the center number, the center name. This will be guided to you by your invigilator during the exams. So I will not look much into that. Then also a very crucial instruction on this paper is that you are supposed to be answering all questions, and you can see the word all has been in bold, has been put in bold to means that it is compulsory, it's mandatory, it is recommended, it's highly recommended that you answer all the questions as been instructed by the examiner. Then answer the questions in the spaces provided. We will be looking at where exactly as a student you're supposed to be placing your answers, because some students just write randomly their answers. You might be having the right answer, but the way you positioned it or where you placed it might have passed the limit. So you end up losing a mark or two for that. So always make sure that your final answer is either circle. If now we can look at the next instruction. The next instruction, any construction, taking pi. Take the value of pi to be 3.142 as you're supposed to be knowing. Then we'll also be receiving a formula sheet for the paper, and this paper is out of 80. So the paper will take 1 hour 30 minutes, and that is the time frame I'm going to try, even as I explain, to work with this. So let us quickly rush to question 1. You're told write your answer in the spaces provided. These ones are the spaces, the ones you can see dotted here. These ones are the spaces. So change 3 weeks into days. We know that 1 week equals to 7 days. So basically it means that 3 weeks I just have to multiply by 7 to get 21. These ones are very easy. You just do them quickly. So we have 21 days. Simplify. This is multiplication. If we are multiplying an algebra, we start with the numbers. So 2 times 3, that is 6. And then the number n, the letter n. That is done as easy as you can see. Now write question 3, 0.7 as a percentage. Simply means that maybe if you are quick in mathematics, just multiply directly or offhand, write the answer. But if you want to do some small working, convert this one first as a fraction, which is the same as 7 over 10. Why 10? After the decimal point, we only have one number after the decimal point. That means we're going to replace it by 10. Then percentage means multiply by 100. So this 0 will multiply by, will cancel. Then we have 7 times 10, which is 70. So we have 70%. If you remember, you're supposed to be using, you're allowed to use a calculator. So there is no penalty if you don't show you are working. Just write the answer. It's 1 mark. Then here are some temperatures in degrees: -3, 5, -6, 7, and 2. Write the temperature in order, starting with the lowest. So when you are dealing with integers, when you're dealing with integers, the smallest value in an integers, it is the value with the largest negative. So the largest negative is -6. And the largest positive is here we have the largest positive and the smallest. So the bigger the negative, the smaller the number. You have to note that. The bigger negative, the smaller the number. And the bigger the positive number, the greater the number. Therefore, this one is the smallest. We are going to start by -6. Then we look at another negative. Then now we go to the positives. The positives we have 2, then 5, then 7. So the major place where students get confused is this. Just have a note that the smaller it is. Then now I think that now you have been reconnected back, and the system should be live on your side. I think that they are now working well. Thank you for my technical team this side for the support. And I think now we can view easily question. Maybe I can just review from question 1 for the people who are not there. You can see overview for question 1 through to question 3. Over there you have a clear view. Also question 2, which they are not harder. I think you can have a view of that those questions were easily able to be tackled by students. Then maybe I can scroll down to question 4 and you can see what we have talked about there, and the major point we have said that whenever you see a negative sign, it means that the bigger the negative sign, the smaller the number, and the bigger the positive sign, the bigger the number. So put that one in mind, that the bigger, the smaller, the bigger the negative. So whenever I see a negative, a minus on a number, and the number seems to be big, then I'm supposed to know that it is small. For this case, we say that -6 is the smallest number according to our review, and that's how we were supposed to be arranging that number. So maybe if I can proceed. Also, you have a view in question 5. They are asking about the systemical unit. Those ones are well done. And maybe you can just have a glance at question 6 and the way it is supposed to be done. So I think that point has been well noted. Before I can now proceed to the next question. You can have a view also question 7, a small algebraic equation, but it is a word. You can view the way it is supposed to be done. It was just a matter of substituting the numbers there and forming a small equation. Mostly students get confused, and you'll find that most of the students were writing 55 times 330. They were just multiplying direct without looking twice at the question, which led to a lot of failure in most of this question. And this you will find them in the academic report, the paper report for that series, as we will be looking for the result. In case you now experience any more technical hitch, you can just send me the messages the way you have done to that, and I really appreciate that for what you have done. It's a good move to show how active you are and how dedicated you are to not missing any of this coverage. I don't take that for granted. Maybe if I can push, I'm just trying to do this so that the people who have just joined now don't have any problem as we proceed on. We have question 8 where we were. We were now in question 8. And I think you can see question 8. We are told that here is a list of numbers. And I've said whenever you're handling a statistic number or a shape number, always arrange. Try to arrange the numbers from the smallest to the largest so that you don't get confused with the equation at any point. That one will be very much helpful. So they are told to find the mode. What's the meaning of mode? Which number is repeating itself most of the time? Which number is highly seen? So, and we see that the number that is highly repeating itself, it is number 6. So we'll say that the number is 6 since it's repeating thrice. Then work out the range. To find range, you just have to take the big number, subtract with the small number. So the biggest number here is 14 minus 5. And the answer here is 9. The answer here is 9. That is how we were supposed to be doing it. Then now we can proceed to question 9. You can see the diagram. Remember, it has not been drawn to scale one way or the other. You're told to work out. The main point is to work out. Because now this is a straight line. We're going to now chip into some properties of angles here, where you're told that angles on a straight line add up to 180. And also you have to look at the nature of the lines. So if you look at line X, and you can see also the question was asking paper 1, they just took part of that. Which type of angle is that? And we say that the angle is an acute angle since it is less than 90. So we expect that the answer that is supposed to be there should be something that is at least less than 90. That is how we know if we are almost getting closer to the answer by adding 85 and 30. You have calculators, so you're not supposed to be having any arithmetic errors, because sometimes examiners might not excuse that, being that the paper you have been allowed to use a calculator, so they might not deeply look much into that. So you're first supposed to, you can do it two ways. Some students just take 180, then they subtract the 2. Some students add first, then they subtract. All of this will land you to the right answer. All of them will land you to the right answer. So there's no problem with that. All of them will land you to the right answer. So the one that I'm going to use, it is the two of them. So number one, a student will say that I have 85. You add 30. This will give them 115. Then you say 180. I subtract 115. Then they press their calculators. 180, you subtract 115. Then you have 65. Automatically, you'll say that this is an acute angle. So it should be less than 90 degrees. And you can see that there's no error. There's no penalty for not putting the degree. Some students will say 180, you subtract 85, you subtract 30. Still no problem. The main thing is that you do understand the property that angles on a straight line add up to 180. That's why now you're asking part B, Roman 2. Give a reason for your answer. So I'll just say that angles on a straight line add up to 180. As simple as that. Then now we can proceed to question number 10. Question number 10. We're told that 20% of cars sold last year were electric cars. 20%. So 20% were electric cars. So we have electric cars and the non-electric. So if 20% are electric, it means that the non-electric were 80% because percentage add up to 100 degrees. So right now the ratio of electric cars sold last year to the number of non-electric cars sold last year. So this is percentage. You can just remove the percentages. Then 0 will cancel 0. Then 2 will divide to 1. 2 will divide 8. 4. Therefore, the ratio is 1:4 into its simplest form. That is the easiest way to deal with that question number 10. Let us proceed to question number 11. Question number 11, you're told that Jamie drives his van for 150 minutes. He stops for a rest. Then Jamie then drives for a further 75 minutes. Show what time drive. Show that Jamie drives for less than 4 hours. We just want to confirm that if I have this time here, the time taken here and the time taken here should be less than 4 hours. Let us show that. So let us first find the total time. 150 plus 75. Use your calculator to be accurate. 150 plus 75. This is 225. And I know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So how many hours are this? So we have 225 divided by 60. I want first the whole number. If you have the calculator, we have got a function that looks like this on your calculator. You can press it after dividing. You will have something written like 304500. Means that it is 3 hours 45 minutes. But what if you don't have that option on your calculator? You'll just first say it's 3 hours. Then 3 hours times 60. This will give me 180. So 225, I subtract 180, which results from the 3 hours that I've gotten from here. If you subtract, you have 45. So this one is the minutes that is left. Automatically, you can see that 3 hours 5 minutes, it is less than 4 hours. So we have proven that this time taken is less than 4 hours. Then now we can proceed. A car travels for 2 hours. A car travels for 2 hours at a steady speed of 65 miles per hour. Work out the distance the car travels. So we know that we also have a triangle here. where we have the speed, distance, and time. So they want the distance. Distance means you have to take the speed times the time. So the speed is 65 and the time is 2. Check the unit. It is 2 hours. So nothing to convert into hours. So you just have to multiply 65 by 2 to get 130 miles. 130 miles. Then now we go to question number 12. It is, I want to make sure that I capture everything here. So I'm trying to squeeze down my working a little bit. I think there is okay. Now we can look at it. We're told that a factory makes mountain bikes and road bikes. Each bike has a disc brake or rim brake or a caliper brake. Students do really fear questions that involve long statements, but what you don't know that these are the easiest. So let us just comprehend it and understand the English that has been used there. Don't run away from the truth. So what we will say here is that in June, the factory makes a total of 240 bikes. So the total number, everything that is in this company, 240 bikes. So what do we do here? Because we do have a total space for all of them, total versus total, they meet at this box. So everything should be 240. So we are told that 102 of 102 of the bikes are mountain bikes. 102 are mountain bikes. 102. So we have the mountain. Out of these 240, 102 are mountain. That's why I write it under this column for the mountain. So it means that automatically I can find the road bikes, because if all of them are 240 and we have mountain bikes as 102, we'll just say 240, we subtract 102 to get 138 for the road bikes. These ones have not been introduced under the statements, but we have to work it alongside as we proceed. Then 75 of the 110 bikes with the disc brakes. So they have talked about disc brakes. So we are under this side, going downwards. So 110 bikes means that all the disc brakes are 110. But the 75 of them are mountain. The 75 are mountain, but the total are 110. Therefore, the total will be 110. We subtract 75, what we did also here. So the road bikes that have got the disc brakes are 35. So you comprehend as we move on. The next one, 105 bikes have rim brakes. So the rim brakes total, all of them, the total of the rim bikes are 105. But also remember, if you add the summation of the totals at the bottom, it's supposed to be giving you 240. I have 110 and I have 105. A total of 110 and 105 should give me 215. They have not reached 240. So if I have 215 and I want to subtract So it will give me the total for the caliper breaks. So the caliper breaks takes 25. So that if I add the summation of everything that's at the bottom here, they should be adding up to 240. This one is called a uh, it's called a two-way table, and that's how it's supposed to be done step by step. Then the next part, you're told that 20 of the mountain, now we are talking about the mountain, 20 of the mountain have a caliper break. 20 of the mountain have a caliper, 20 of them. But now you can also see that there's a blank here. For the calipers, the total for the calipers is supposed to be 25, but already 20 has taken place. So what is left? Just 5. Then we can complete either one of the rims here by using which method? If I add 75 and I add 20, I should, and something here, I should be getting 102. So let us subtract 102 being the total. You subtract 75, subtract 20, so that this box here we have 7. What about the bottom part? Because all of them are 120, 138 for the road bikes, we'll say 135, 38, subtract 35, subtract 5. So it means that here they are 98. Confirm that 98 plus 7 should be giving you 105. That proves to us that this table was balanced. So let us proceed on to question 13a. Multiplication. Whenever you see an algebra being multiplied, know that the number will go on top as a power, as a bar. So because there are 3 n's, we'll just say n cubed 3. It is different with n plus n plus n. If it is addition, then it has to be, the number comes next to n. But if it is multiplication, the number goes on top. That's the major difference. So for this case, they wanted this. Then here they are telling us to solve what is the value of k. So let us collect the like terms, because this one is a number. Let us take it to the number here. Whenever it crosses the equal sign, it changes. So we have 5k is equal to 26. It changes the sign to addition plus 4. Therefore 5k is equals to 30 divided by 5 divided by 5. Therefore the value of k, use your calculator to get 6. We can proceed now to question 14. 120 students. Total of these students is 120. You can confirm by adding, which is true. The table below shows information of the students. So complete the pie chart. You can see the pie chart is here. The pie chart is here. Here we need to have a protractor, but I'll be using a small sketch because my element doesn't have that capacity. So how did they get the degrees? So to find degrees on a pie chart, just say for the French is 45 divided by 120 times 360. Remember, angles at a point or at a pie chart add up to 360. 20 over 120 times 360. Also for this one, 55 of 120 times 360. So you can just do that one quickly. The first one gives you 135 degrees. The next one gives you 60 degrees. And the next one gives us 165 degrees. So this is what we are going to transform into our pie chart. The first one has already been done for you, 135. So how do we measure 60? Take your protractor and place it at this point alongside here. Then we are going to measure 60 degrees. It has to be somewhere here. A small one. Then automatically the rest, the one that is left is for the Spanish. So this one is for the Mandarin. Then the other one will go for the other one will go for the Spanish. Also, it is advisable if you can write the degrees. 165. And that is how it is supposed to be completed. In another pie chart, the number of students in year 11 studying French is represented by 150 degrees. So the French students here was 135. But here you are told in another class 150. Then Navi says that this means that the French were chosen by more students in grade 10 than in grade 11 than grade 10. Is that really true? No, this passage is not true. Why? Because you say that angles on a pie chart varies with the total number of students. Total number, let's say total number. That's enough. Don't need to explain much. For example, let me just have an example so that you can understand better. In this case, there are 45 students taking French out of 120, giving us 135. Give us 135 degrees. But what if maybe 150 for this class? You might find that 150 degrees was represented by a very small fraction. For example, let's say 100 as the total number of students in this class. For you to achieve 150 degrees, it means that the numbers that are on top of 100 has to be around 40, 41. So the number are less, giving a bigger percentage in the pie chart, a bigger degree. So we cannot ascertain that these students are more, since that they have a bigger decrease in the pie chart. So that's what I'm just trying to explain for you there. So this person is totally incorrect, not right. Person is wrong. Look at question 15. There are 120 buttons in a box. These are 6 buttons, 9 greens, and 5 reds, 6 blues. So let us see. The blues, the green, and the red. 6, 9, and 5. The total is 20. Now Jai puts 12 more. So the total, if Jai puts 12 more, it means that the total is going to be increased to 32. These buttons are either blue or red. So green was not affected. Green is still 9 because they are either blue or red. Hope you can see that. Now, the probability that this button will be blue is a quarter. So out of the ones remaining from 9, 32, you subtract 9 so that we can know. 32 subtract 9. This is 23. So out of this 23, no, the probability, yeah, out of this 23, you must have a ratio for the blue as a quarter of the total. So what is a quarter of 32? A quarter of 32 is 8. So automatically, the blue buttons are 8. Now remember they had remained 23. If I subtract 8 from 23, you get 15. It means automatically the reds were 15. So how many more reds? The red were initially 5, and now they are 15. How much have they added? They have added 10 reds. Not compulsory you to write the red, the 10. That is how the question is supposed to be solved. Then question 16, we have a graph. You're told that the graph travels from Derby to Sheffield. The traveling graph shows information about the training journey. You can see the graph there, it is halfly drawn. Then you are asked, work out the speed of the train, work out the speed of the train in miles per hour. So this is 30 minutes, it means half an hour. So we know that time taken is a half an hour. And the distance traveled, it is looking at the arrow going up. So if this is 30 and this is 40, it has arrived at the halfway, means it is 35. So the distance is 35. So we can now find speed because that's what they want. Find the speed. And remember the triangle we drew earlier? We say distance is on top, speed and time. So speed is equals to distance over time. The distance is 35 divided by a half, which is the same as 0.5, which gives you 70. So the speed being used here, it is 70 miles per hour. Now the train stays at Sheffield for 15 minutes. Show the information on the graph. Now, if something is at rest, it is staying, it's at rest, it means that the distance is not moving. And we want to move it for 15 minutes. So if this is 30 and this is 60, what is the midway? 45. And in true, 30 plus 15 minutes that they stayed should be giving me 45. Therefore, this line should be moving using a state ruler all the way to that point. That is how the graph should be completed. Question 17, you are told that the village hall needs a new heating system. The cost of the heating system is 9,000 euros. A community grants will pay 85% of its cost. The village council will pay the rest. So if it's supposed to be 100% and the village will pay 85%, how much is left? 100 minus 85%. This village will just pay 15%. So we want to know how much is 15% on this. So we say 15 divided by 100 times 9,000, which gives me 1,350 euros. Question 18. We're moving on swiftly, almost winding up. Now the cuboid has got a volume. I think you all know a cuboid. On a 3D, all the sides are equal. So to find the volume of a cuboid is equals to side cubed. So 512 is equals to side cubed. Therefore, to find one side, you just have to find the cube root. So cube root of 512, you have your calculator should be giving you 8. Therefore, one side is 8. They want the surface area of a cube. To find the surface area of a cube, so we have 8 times 8, which is 64, total giving us 340 and 84 centimeter squared. Then question 19, you are told, here's an inequality. Number line, write down the largest possible value. The largest, remember what we said on the first question, on the upper part questions. The bigger the negative, the smaller the number. So it means that the smaller the negative, the bigger the number. So they want the largest possible value, and it is landing here. So it is -2. Next, on this number line, we are supposed to be showing. So it is at -4, but because it is less than or equal to, supposed to be shading it, then we have 2. Now we can join that line. Express as a product of its prime factor. You can use very many ways. I will use this method. The people who are done the higher tier, you can see. You can just split it. This is 10 times 25. This is 2 times 5. And this is 5 times 5. Therefore, you have 1 and the 5 are 2. Or you can start here 2 divides here 1, 2, 5. 5 divides here 25 times. 5 divides here 5. 5 divides here 1. So you can see the numbers representing what is here. Also, you can decide to use, no, these are the best ways, unless you are tackling an LCM question like this, where you can decide to use a Venn diagram. So this one, you can use the method, 2 methods also, the factor methods or the Venn diagram. So 2 can divide here 15, here that way, 5 here 3 times, and 5 here 5. Then we have 3 here 1 and 5 here. So we can just take these numbers and multiply them out. 2 times 3 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. And here we have 6. Therefore, 25 times 6, we have 150 as the lowest common number multiple. Now we are told that CD, Tam, and Musa shared this in the ratio. How much money did each person receive? So the total ratio, it is 5. You just take 5 plus 3 plus 2, which gives you 10. Therefore, the first person, S, Sid, got 2 divided by 10 times that number. Tam got 3 out of 10 times 6, 900. And the last person, Musa, got 5 out of 10 times 6, 900. Then you can use your calculator to obtain these answers swiftly. 2 over 10 times, so here we have 1380. On the next one we have 2070, and on the last one we have 3450. That is how that one is supposed to be achieved. Question 22. You are told that here is a circle inside a triangle with a diameter. That is the key thing. The diameter is 7. Remember, a circle, the diameter is the distance from the arc to the arc. Now, Maxine will cover the shaded region here with the gravel. A gravel is sold in bags. Each bag of gravel covers 12.5 meters squared. So let us see what area, work out the number of bags that are required. First, we have to know what area has been shaded here. And to find the area of the shaded, we'll say you have to find the area of the triangle, then you subtract the area of the circle. So area of a triangle, we know it is a half times base times height, which will give me a half times 16 times 14. What is the answer there? Half times 16 times 14, which is 112 meters squared. What about area of a circle? Area of a circle, area of a circle is equals to pi r squared. Remember the instruction on top of the paper. Remember when I was reading out the instructions, you are told that take the value of pi to be 3.142. That one is what we are going to use here, 3.142. So we'll say that area of a circle is equals to pi, which is 3.142, times the radius. Don't use 7, it's supposed to be 3.5 because uh, diameter is equals to 2 radius, and radius is equals to diameter divided by 2. So we have 7 divided by 2 squared. You can use your calculator on that. 3.142. So 895. And we have said to find the area of the shaded, we're supposed to take the area of the triangle, subtract the area of the circle, 895. Therefore, we'll have the area as 73.5105 meters square. So for every area, one gravel, one bag of gravel will cover 12.5. What about this one? So we just divide by 12.5. So the answer gives me 5.88084. But do we have box that have got a decimal? So this person, to fully cover this area, we need a whole number. Therefore, we need a total of 6 bags. If I buy 5, it will not cover because of the other bigger percentage. Then you are told that Mascaline finds that each bag of gravel only covers an area of this of 11. Remember, before it was covering 12.5, but now it is covering 11. Let us see. Let us find out by maybe confirming. Before it was 73.5105. So if we divide it by 11, it is now going to take me the answer that we got divided by 11. It's now going to take me at 6.6827. So this will force me to buy 7 bags. How does this affect your answer in airbag above? We say the number of bags will increase from 6 to 7, or you can say by 1. Just a small explanation there. You're told the point C is shown on a centimeter grid. A point P is at least, it's very important, is at least 2 centimeters from C. Nadia is asked to shade the region where P should be. Some little bit of loci, very basic. Here, he has answers is shown on the grid. Explain the mistake. What mistake can I see here? You have been told at least. So it means that at least this one she covered the at most. At least should be outside. So the shading should be outside. That one is one of the greatest mistake that was done. So you say Nadia made was shading inside the circle. Or as well you can say as she, because it is her, was she was to shade the outside of the circle. Question 24. This year, the This year, the total weight of potatoes grown on a farm are a quarter less than last year. A fifth, not a quarter, a fifth less than last year. So it means that whatever was last year, which is X, a fifth means 4 out of 5 less than. So what was produced was this. So this year, the total weight of potato grown is this. So this one should be equal to 8,000 tons. Work out the total weight of potato grown last year. So we'll say that X is equals to 8,000. Use your calculator if you can use an alternative method, but that is the procedure. Some people can decide to convert this one to decimal, which is not a problem. So last year, these people produced 10,000. 10,000. Question 25. Here's a list of numbers. Here's a list of numbers. List A has got this and list B has got that. The mean of A. So let us first find the mean. 200. How do we find the mean? Add. Add. Then all of these we are going to divide by 1, 2, 3, 4. So let us see 276 plus 400 plus 157 plus 139. This one gives me a total of 972. We divide this by 4, which gives me 243. What about the one at the bottom? We have 530 plus 500 plus 270 plus 440 plus 320. This one gives me 2060 plus x. We're supposed to be dividing by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the ratio A is to B, it is 3 is to 5. So 243 is that. A small application of statistics combined with some handling data combined with algebra. So we are going to cross multiply. Going to cross multiply. Therefore, we have 243 times 5, which gives me 1215. 1215 is equals to, I will say, to multiply, I will go step by step because it is 3 into 60 plus x divided by 6. Because it is affecting everything, we'll just have to say that 3 over 6 times 2060. So we have 10, 30, let me write 1 to 15, 10, 30 plus 3 divided by 6, that's a half x. So collect the like terms, 12, 15 minus 130, we have 185 is equals to a half, or you can decide to divide both sides by 0.5. So the value of x fits here because it is greater than 270 and also less than 440. Therefore, the number here it is 370. We are told we are finishing up. We are told ABC is a right angle triangle. Calculate the value of x. So here we know that if this is the right angle, then this side here we call it hypotenuse. Then from the right angle to the angle being asked, it is called adjacent. Then the other side becomes the opposite. Therefore, we have got the value x. Remember, you must have this in mind, the SOHCAHTOA formula. We have opposite and adjacent. The value opposite and adjacent. Which formula goes with that? Opposite and adjacent. So we'll say that tan of x should be opposite over adjacent. Therefore, to find a value of an angle, we do the inverse of the trigonometry, 7 over 4. Therefore, we'll say tan inverse, shift tan, bracket 7 over 4. the nearest one decimal place, we'll have 60.3. The next one, you're told that a metal rod is made from steels with density 8 grams per centimeter cubic. Each metal rod has a volume of this. The maximum mass of metal rod can be put in this trolley is 300 kg. Work out the greatest number of metal rods that can be put into this trolley. So let us see. We have another formula here: density, mass, and volume. So they want the mass. So mass is equal to density times volume. So 8 times 1,500. Quickly on your calculator, you're supposed to be getting 12,800 what grams. That is the mass. So we can convert this mass to kilograms by dividing by 1,000, because 1 kilogram is equals to 1,000 grams. So we divide here to get that this is just 12 kg. So you're told that the maximum mass can be is 300 kg. Work out the greatest number of metals. So we just divide the greatest number of metals that can divide here. You just divide them, and we have 25. Those are the number of rods that can enter into the trolley on the trolley. Then here you're told to sketch the graph. Automatically, this is a cubical graph, so we expect our graph to be either cutting the x-axis twice, upwards or downwards. Should be going in either of the following formation. So what I always do, I will just have to make a small table, which is not compulsory, but for your benefit as a student, I'm just going to write a value that has got a negative and a positive. You can use any. Let me use 2 here and maybe 4 here. So you see, you're told that we use this equation, negative 2 squared, that will give me 4. 4 plus 2, it is 6. So if x is negative 2, y is 6, and it will be 2. So we have 16 plus 2, 18. So let us see if I have a sketch, because the negative of the x will be somewhere here, negative 2, and 6 will be here. Its 0 will be on 2, and 2 is here. Then it's 4, and it's 18 has to be there. So you can see it's just a sketch. So you just draw something like that. That is the sketch of that diagram. Moving on. Moving on to question 29. The first 3 terms of Fibonacci, or we can call it the Fibonacci sequence, is as follows. What is a Fibonacci? What is the meaning of this Fibonacci sequence? A Fibonacci sequence means that whenever I add 2 of the terms, I should be getting the next number. For example, if I have 1 and 2, if I add 1 and 2, I should be getting 3. 2 and 3, I should be getting 5. 3 and 5, I should be getting 8. And that is how the trend always continue. So you can see this case that A plus 3A, they have 4A. So it is A, 3A, 4A. So the next one will be 3 plus 4, 7A. 4 plus 7, 11A. The trend continues. 7 plus 11, 18A. So the fifth term, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. The fifth term, 11A, is 286. Work out the value of A. So what do we do there? We divide by 11. We divide by 11. Therefore, we'll say 286 divided by 11. So the value of A, which is the first term here, was supposed to be 26. Having that done, we can see that we have come to the total marks of 80. The last question was question 29. And that is how this paper was supposed to be solved. Looking forward, in our next video, we should be looking at paper 3. And by just doing that, we would have scored 80% for this. Thank you very much for the people who have been watching. I really don't take this for granted. And I thank you so much for your support. Tomorrow we'll be having our next live. Also, you can just always be checking around. You can see the challenges, despite the challenges, we have still managed to finish the paper within 1 hour, 30 minutes. So it means that this paper, the time allocated there was very sufficient. We have just used 1 hour, 20 minutes, despite the challenge of having some technical problems earlier on, which we managed. And also I thank the people who raised up the alarm for that. We try my best so that that doesn't happen again. Meanwhile, if you have any question, you can write it down in the comment section, or you can email me directly the questions, and we shall be looking at them in our next paper. Adios muchacho. Peace.